Dame Judi Dench has been a star of stage and screen across 7 decades, from roles in Shakespeare to James Bond. And now with grandson Sam, she's a social media sensation.
My parents, they were both incredibly full of life. We've always been taken to the theatre, and we were always dashing about everywhere, dressed up. My ma was making all the costumes, and Daddy could recite the whole of Hiawatha. It was a family like that. I must have been about 7 or 8. I was taken to see Macbeth. My eldest brother, Peter, played Duncan, and he walked on and said, "What bloody man is that?" And I can remember thinking, oh, this is Shakespeare. This is swearing too, I thought. And I was hooked.
Judi made her professional debut in 1957, playing Ophelia in Shakespeare's Hamlet.
I am passionate about Shakespeare. I would like to meet him. Then I would like to say, have you any other plays up your sleeve? Have you anything for anyone in their 80s? A rather good part, sitting down most of the time.
Judi was born in England, but her parents met and grew up in Ireland.
My ma was very funny, very Irish and fiery, very fiery, and had no relations at all that we ever met. My father was born in Dorset, and he was brought up in Dublin, and he was the most wonderful doctor. This was my dad's consulting room desk, and this was his chair that he sat in. Look, it does this. It's really, really comfortable. And look, it has wonderful things that do this. Those were for writing prescriptions on. I love it. I know that my pa was in the 1418 war, and I know he's a very young man. And I know also he was in the Leinsters, which was an Irish regiment. And I know that he was very, very brave in France and got a badge for it. But I would love to know more about that. Because, you know, it's our duty anyway to pass it down. And I want the family to know. I can't think where this scent might lead us. Who knows? But I'm very excited.
Hi, Ma!
Hi, Ma.
Judi's daughter Finty and grandson Sam have come to visit.
So, Ma,
Yeah.
this is you in the middle.
It is, of Natch. Without the socks.
Without socks
You
and
need
with
to-
gold ballet shoes on.
You're the only one wearing gold ballet shoes. Everyone else is wearing black.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Centre stage. Pretty dress.
Start as you mean to
No
go
sock.
on.
And then,
And there's Mummy.
and then let's go on.
There's Mummy.
But
Who
she had red hair.
Well, hey,
Hello.
that's where I
Red
got mine
hair.
from.
That's where it came from. Red hair and very, very turquoise blue eyes.
I remember her eyes.
Remember, yeah.
And look
And
at
there we are.
you. Look at
Super
you.
glamorous.
Daddy looks good, doesn't
He
he?
looks
He
amazing.
looks great. Gosh, he used to laugh. He used to laugh so much. Quite inappropriate for a doctor.
But look
I know.
at Sammy.
I know.
I've never noticed this before, but look at that photograph, which is
Daddy
when he
In the
was.
First World War.
He must have been
He must have been about 18 or 19.
4 or 5 years younger than Sammy
I
is now.
suppose that's
That
right.
is mental,
Phil.
isn't
That's
it?
mental.
What are these amazing
Don't
things?
ask me.
Did they belong to Gampy?
They must have done.
Look, he's wearing it in this picture.
I know.
It's not. It's on his
then
lapels.
it's on his lapel.
They're actually
It's a
on
good clean.
That's really cool. I like that one.
This one.
No,
is
no,
it?
the
The
one
star.
The star.
They say. My eyesight's going. So this gold one says the Great War for Civilization, 1914 to 1919.
I like the star. That's
I
my
like the
favourite
star.
one.
What are these chaps? Angels. Can you see that?
Oh, yes, I can see. Oh, I can see an angel.
Did he talk about it?
Not very much. And I don't believe that anyone who was in that war wanted to come back and talk about it much.
It'd be amazing to find out more. Really important as well.
Yeah, really important.
I would love to find out.
Aged 5, Judy's father, Reginald Dench, moved from England to Ireland, where Judi still has extended family. She's come to Dublin to meet her paternal cousins, Dennis and Valerie, to hear what they remember about her father.
Oh, you're looking fabulous.
Oh, thank you. The family came over to Ireland and lived in Sandymount. But that was a lovely little place. Sandymount's a beautiful little village.
And the church.
Green.
Well, I think Mum and Daddy were married there, weren't they?
Right.
Our grandmother,
Bessie Oak.
Bessie Oak. There's a window to her.
Yes,
That's right.
She was heavily involved in the women's organisation in the church there. Would you like to have a look at some of the photos?
You bet. You
Look at
bet.
that. This is the family album.
Oh.
My parents kept newspaper cuttings. This is you playing the part of Ophelia.
My first part at the Oval.
Yes. Yes.
1957.
With John Neville in Hamlet. The girl who dares to start at the top. No vital statistics, but she can act.
No vital statistics. Is that what it says? Dirty
Disgusting.
beggar. No vital statistics. I don't think you need those as Ophelia, do you?
I wouldn't think so.
There's another photo I'd like to show you, which is your father looking very dapper. Have you
I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Very jaunty. That's the most lovely picture.
A very generous man is all I remember of him, very much so.
And he damaged his leg.
And he always wore calipers on
Yes,
it. I know he
yeah.
used to suffer
Suffered
quite a
from
lot.
it. Yes, he did.
But it
Didn't stop him swimming.
No,
did
it didn't. No.
You know,
But he won the military cross, so, he must have been extraordinarily brave, yes.
He did.
But we keep a very good archive here of military for the whole of Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Judi wants to learn more about her father's war medals, so she's meeting historian La Joy at the Military Archives of Ireland.
Well, I'll show you him, actually. There's a picture of him. I'm so blind that I don't know. It may not even be the right way out, is it?
That's perfect. And what age do you think he was in that photograph?
I'm not quite sure, but I know that my ma prized it very much, and rightly.
And this first document here is actually the application to join the British Army for your father. Important thing, he's joining an Irish regiment, a very famous
The
Irish
Leinsters.
The Leinsters.
Yes.
They had a very long history, well over 100 years, fighting in the British Army and recruiting heavily, as I say, in Ireland. And then he's been told to report to Dublin University, so Trinity College. And in Trinity College, you had an officer training corps. Yeah. And they specialised in training young officers. And when they've been trained as officers, they've very much been trained to lead from the front. They're kind of instilled to kind of look after their men.
What age is he?
He's 18 at this stage, so a very, very young man. So he really is going from being a schoolboy to be trained as an officer, and then later on will be in charge of people who could be 5, 10 years older than him.
When I think of my own grandson, who is now 24, I think of him at 18, the responsibility on your shoulders.
So this one is from the medical board report, and it shows you that he's been injured, and while
Is he injured in the knee?
He's injured in the knee, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Was this a recurring injury for him? Was it?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't realise that had happened in the war.
And it's interesting. It's actually a training injury, so it happens while he's in Trinity College. And a quote from the board's report: while during his training, he injured his knee. And displaced the cartilage. The cartilage was removed by an operation in June 1916, and he was in hospital for 7 weeks.
That's before he went.
So that's before
he even went to France. I didn't realise it had happened so early. Let me show you these and tell me They look like something you would wear on a very special day.
Wow, that's a beautiful collection. But this medal here at the end is the one that jumps out to me. This is the Military Cross. So the Military Cross is a gallantry medal. So 99% of medals are for service. You were there, is to prove that you were there. But 1% are the gallantry medals for officers, for these young officers, the lieutenants and captains who are doing all the fighting and leading. It's a special medal for them. So to get a military cross is, it's a huge accolade and shows that he's very, very brave. But what's really fascinating about this is this bar. So this bar is on the medal.
You say military cross and bar, you do,
Yeah,
don't
yes.
you? And is this the bar across
That's
there?
the bar and has a little small rosette.
And
on
what
it.
does that mean?
That means he got the medal the second time.
He got it a second time?
Yep, so he's incredibly brave. So to have it once is quite an achievement. To get it twice is an amazing achievement. Out of an army of 6.5 million soldiers, only 3,000 got the medal twice. So it's we're looking at a very small group of officers.
I'm so pleased, and I feel very proud of him. That's wonderful. He's a hero. He was always a hero in my eyes, but he's now even more of a hero.
To explore why Reginald Dench was awarded 2 military crosses, Judi's come to Trinity College, Dublin, to meet battlefield historian Peter Barton.
In training, he had an accident.
How did he, what?
Jumping. It says in jumping in training, that's right, yeah. So in September 1916, he was recovering from that knee operation. And you may be surprised to know that it was that which saved him from fighting in the Battle of the Somme. Otherwise, he would have been on the Somme. So he was very lucky there, very lucky.
Recuperating from his operation in 1916, Reginald Dench missed the horrors of the Somme, where in 5 months of fierce combat, Allied forces failed to make any significant advance against the Germans. It was one of the bloodiest battles in all of human history, with more than 1 million casualties on both sides. Judi's father joined the battalion when it was ordered to head north to Ypres in Belgium.
On the 8th of March, 1917, it's his first taste of action. Heavy German shelling starts, and it becomes incredibly powerful and brutal.
How terrible.
And then at 4 a.m. in the morning, so it's pitch black, the Germans launch their raid. And what they're hoping to do is to get into the British trenches, your father's trenches, kill as many British as possible, capture some prisoners to feed upon for intelligence. But it doesn't work. Their artillery has failed to cut the protective barbed wire entanglements in front of the trench, and they can't get through there. And everybody is firing at these approaching Germans, including your father. He picks up a machine gun and is firing at them as they approach, and then as they go away again, they can't get through the wire. So that raid is a total failure. It's actually in the war diary. It says, Second Lieutenant Dench and Burney especially distinguished themselves during the attack, and all ranks behaved with the greatest gallantry. So he's awarded a military cross for holding the men together and for fighting off this trench raid, which could have been catastrophic.
6 months later, after his actions had been recognised with a gallantry medal, on the 13th of October 1917, Judi's father was stationed south of Arras, near the Hindenburg Line, one of the Germans' last lines of defence on the Western Front. In order to win the war, it was essential that battalions like Reginald Dench's found ways to break through this heavily fortified zone of interlocking trenches.
And extraordinarily, we actually have a photograph of the place where he was. We'll roll out there.
What a terrible place for them all.
He's made an acting captain. So he's no longer commanding 30 men, he's commanding 200, 250 men. But he is put in charge, or he offers, to organise a trench raid. Now, this isn't a normal trench raid. What he's doing here, he's going in with a party of Royal Engineers so that they can measure the German trenches with tape measures. They need to survey the German trenches in this sector so that they can devise plans as to how they can attack them successfully. A massive responsibility. He has 100 men going over the top with him.
That must have been full of German soldiers.
Correct. Yeah. They've got to do it as quickly as possible. Get in, allow the Royal Engineers to get the intelligence, and then get out again. And we have a report. I've got a map just here, actually. And I've marked the route, the exact route that your father took. So he crossed no man's land, through the German wire, got into the German front line trench there, and then turned left. And this is where he hits resistance. A small party of the enemy worked their way towards your father's men, bombing and firing rifles. Our men retaliated, one being shot at close range by Captain Dench, MC. Your father shot a German soldier at point-blank range pretty well. And he also threw bombs. So he's achieved what he needed to do. He's holding off aggression by the Germans. They then have to get back. The Royal Engineers have done their stuff. They get back in no man's land. Your father stays in no man's land like a shepherd and ushers his men back to the safety of their own trenches. So he's the last to come back, which is remarkable. And for that, he receives another military cross.
I'm not at all surprised that nobody spoke about it all.
But he knew what his duty was, and he knew it was that German soldier or him.
For 4 months, Reginald Dench continued to serve on the front line south of Arras. But in March 1918, the battalion found themselves in the firing line of the Germans' final and most deadly attack of the war, the Spring Offensive.
They lost every single officer in the battalion. Every single officer was killed, wounded or captured. And here's the list of all the officers: wounded, killed, missing, wounded, wounded and missing.
Was he there?
Your father's name is not on that list because he was sent home on the 15th of March, 6 days before this happened, and he was exchanged for another officer because of his knee. So it saved him from the Somme. It could have saved him from Messina.
Maybe that's why he never complained. He was obviously in pain a lot, but never complained. Do you suppose?
Yes, I can see that. I can see that very clearly.
Oh, dear.
Mm.
Judy's come to Christchurch in Sandymount, where her grandparents were active members of the congregation. Inside, a war memorial commemorates Reginald and the soldiers he served alongside.
Reggie? And many others. I didn't know that was there. I must have seen it when I was here once, but I just remember my grandmother's window. I'm very anti-war and hard to contemplate how you would commit yourself to that each day. He used to just rub his knee. But he never said, he never talked about that. And how, in fact, having that injury must ultimately have saved his life on maybe even more than 2 occasions. When you think how completely life-changing those experiences were, Not sure that you could live in the past. I think you'd want to push that away from you a bit. Well, a lot.
Unlike her father, Judy's mother was born in Ireland, but Judy knows very little about her maternal side of the family, so she's meeting genealogist Nicola Morris at the National Library of Ireland.
So we can go a little bit further back on your mother's family, quite a bit further back, in fact. So we have a little family tree here. So starting with you, and that's your mother. So Eleanor Olive Jones.
That's right.
And her father was Henry Jebb. That's
yes,
it. Henry
because I
Jebb
had
Jones.
a cat called Jebb.
Oh, very good.
After him.
Yeah, and it's quite an unusual name.
It is.
And we work our way back up to your 2 times great-grandmother. So Eleanor Frances Bolton was born in 1802. She was born in a house called Brazil House, which is actually just in County Dublin, in the parish of Swords, so just north of the city. This is the ruins of the house. So quite a substantial big house. So they would have been a well-to-do family.
Golly.
They had been in this Brazil house for at least 200 years.
Really?
Yeah. And I have another thing I wanted to show you, which tells us a little bit more about the Boltons. So hang on one second.
Right.
Now.
Oh, my.
Yes. You have to keep this propped up. So this was created by the office of the Ulster King of Arms. So this was the chief herald of Ireland, essentially, who kind of kept the record of the landed families of Ireland. As you'll see, it's handwritten. So these are his notes that he has made on the Bolton family. So we were looking at...
Handmade, handwritten.
Isn't it? Beautiful. So we were looking at Eleanor Frances Bolton.
Right.
And we work our way back up. So this is your 6 times great-grandfather. So we're going all the way back to the very early 18th century,
Yes.
1700s. And we've Richard Bolton of Brazil, and his wife here is Anne Catherine, daughter of Steen Billy of Copenhagen.
Of Copenhagen?
Your 6 times great-grandmother came from Denmark.
Well, they kept it very quiet. Well, nobody has ever in our family mentioned Denmark. Nobody.
Well, it was a long, long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but you'd think they'd kind of remember a vestige of something, wouldn't you?
I know,
Denmark.
yes, yeah.
Judy now knows that her maternal great-great-grandmother, Eleanor Frances Bolton, descended from landed gentry. And her 6 times great-grandfather, Richard Bolton, married a Danish woman called Anne Catherine Bille, the daughter of Steen Bille of Copenhagen.
But there's a little bit more to the story. So I'm going to show you something else.
I love this book in its bed.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a catalogue of a collection of letters written by Robert Molesworth. But he was sent as an extraordinary envoy to Denmark. And he brought with him the essentially orphaned Richard Bolton, who'd lost his parents, as an assistant. And out of these lovely letters that we have from Molesworth, writing to his wife back in Dublin, he makes reference to this young Dick Bolton and his behaviour. So we have here at the...
His behaviour.
And his behaviour, yes.
Oh, yes.
He's up to no good. And to his wife, he says, remarks as to affair of Dick Bolton and his mistress, Anne Catherine Bille.
Did he marry her?
He did.
He did. He can be forgiven.
This is what he says. I can say nothing to the disadvantage of the young gentlewoman, but want of fortune, and by all my art I cannot keep them from running into deeper engagements.
It's all to do with the money, isn't it?
Exactly. And I think that's his concern, is that somebody's going to have to come up with a marriage settlement. It's possible that Dick doesn't really have much to fall back on himself, but he doesn't seem to think that Anne Catherine Billy is an appropriate match for him.
Poor old Dick Bolton.
Well, Molesworth's letter certainly points to the fact that it was probably it was a love match. You know, they clearly had an affair, and nobody was going to get in the way of stopping it.
Good.
So I think it would be worth going to see why it was that the Molesworths thought this was an inappropriate match.
Then I have to go to Denmark and find out.
You do.
Judy's travelled to the capital of Denmark, Copenhagen.
Mummy's side of the family been traced back to Copenhagen.
Oh, that's amazing.
So that's my mum.
Does that mean that we are literally Vikings?
I expect you are.
Brilliant. I'll take that.
You look Viking to me. You look quite Viking.
I think if I wore a hat with horns, I could pass as a Viking.
No, that's not true. I don't think they did. I'll find out a bit more and let you know.
Just to let you know that I'm cooking a full roast dinner. Roast chicken, Yorkshire puddings, eggs and blankets,
Yorkshire
carrots,
pudding
broccoli.
with chicken?
What?
Yorkshire pudding with chicken? That's very curious. Usually
Well, I guess we are Danish, aren't we, Ma? So
that's what it is, of course.
anything could be.
You have Yorkshire pudding with chicken if you're a Dane. You're too silly.
To learn more about her 6 times great-grandmother Anne Catherine Bille and her 7 times great-grandfather Steen Bille, Judy's meeting her newly discovered distant cousin, Jorn Bille.
Hello.
What a pleasure. And an honour as well.
How lovely.
Yes.
I can't believe this.
You are a relative.
I know, and that we're related. Can you believe it?
No.
I'm thrilled. I didn't even know we had any Danish blood in us.
Please.
I love you. Thank you very much indeed.
I can tell you, I'm an actor as well. And I worked on the Royal Theatre, so I just had to walk for 4 minutes and I was in the Royal Theatre.
No.
Yes. It must be in the genes.
Well, it must be, because my brother is also, one of my brothers.
Oh, really?
Oh, Jeff, yes.
Well, won't you sit down? So, Steen Andersen Bille, our common ancestor, I found his diary from 1659. It's here. And it's a little bit difficult to read this old Gothic handwriting. But he wrote about Anne Catherine Bille. In English, Anne Catherine, but she was called in Danish Anna Katrine Bille.
That is Dick Bolton's
wife.
That they called mistress so rudely. When he wasn't even married.
Okay.
The letter we saw.
I was mostly offended when I heard about it. That is, disapproved this
Me
ambassador.
too.
Yes, we're both offended.
We were both very, very offended.
But, well, anyhow, he must have been very pleased with his little daughter, Steen Andersen Bille, because he wrote, in 1665, on April 4th, between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., God blessed my dear wife and me with our little daughter, Anna Katrine. May God allow her to grow up in age and grace both in God and in people.
Why did they make so much of a thing that she had no inheritance or fortune or...
Well, I can show you a painting of the grandfather of Anna Katrine. And that's Anders Bille. He was counsel of the realm and playmate of the king and the king's brother.
Although Judy's 6 times great-grandmother Anna Katrina was described as being in want of fortune, her grandfather, who was called Anna's Steensen Bille, was an aristocrat.
What a nice-looking man.
He was very good-looking. I was told he was not that tall. Well,
that's fine. That goes to the family.
To the family because he has his family coat of arms here. And then I thought, oh, yes, that must be the coat of arms of his mother, because that's normal. You do that in Danish.
Yes, father.
Father and mother. But it was not his mother's coat of arms. In those times, it was forbidden to marry outside aristocracy. So he couldn't marry Katrine, the woman he loved, because she was the daughter of a peasant. A very remarkable woman. And she was the mother of Sten Andersen Bille.
As an aristocrat, Judy's 8 times great-grandfather, Anders Stensen Bille, was forbidden from marrying Katarina, the mother of his children, because she was not from a noble family. This meant that their son, Sten Andersen Bille, Judy's 7 times great-grandfather, was illegitimate and unable to inherit his father's title.
But because he was illegitimate, the son, Sten, our ancestor Sten, the painter painted, you can't see it really, an oak tree cut over. It's this oak stump. This means that the nobility was cut. So it couldn't continue because his son was
illegitimate.
Illegitimate, yes, illegitimate. And on this little stump, there's a green branch, little sapling. And I love this writing beneath. And you can't read it, I can't read it here. It's if God wishes. No, opposite, no. It's when God wishes, because he was convinced something was going to happen, when God wishes. And when I discovered it, I was really moved. Because in a way, we both are descendants of this little green branch. We are. I found it extremely interesting when I read about your Anna Katrine Bille in Sten Andersen Bille's diary, because her baptismal witnesses were Mr. Governor Gabel, General Field Marshal Würz, Major General Ruse. All the baptismal witnesses were military people from high rank.
The army, she had the army there.
But because he was illegitimate, how did that happen? What was his connection with those people? I don't know that much. Maybe you can find out.
Maybe I'll find out and tell you.
And tell me. Then we have a new meeting and you tell me all about what happened.
And we'll find all the other people related to this. The oak tree is what kept me awake last night, because Oak is a family name of mine on my father's side, and it is part of my grandson's name. And I suddenly had the vision of the lopped oak tree, but the wonderful thing and the hope of it all is this lovely sapling at the side, oak sapling, which is growing. And what is lovely about it, of course, is the motto, when God wishes, which we're all going to have written all over us. Like I've got Carpe Diem. I expect I'll find that somewhere in my ancestry.
To find out how her 7 times great-grandfather Sten Andersen Bille established high-ranking military connections without being a member of the nobility, Judy has come to Copenhagen's Citadel, a city centre fortress, and is meeting Dr. Sebastian Ollen Jørgensen.
Sten Andersen Bille was bright. He studied at the university and sought to make a fortune for himself in Italy, where he entered the service of the Medici Grand Dukes of Tuscany. You could say he had been a beefeater.
Right, Italian beefeater.
Italian beefeater. After some years, he returned to Denmark with a nice letter of recommendation. Yet there would have been very narrow limits to his career. There was a glass ceiling for everybody not a nobleman in Denmark. They could rise, but only to the middling rank. What he does not know is that the next few years will be very dramatic and will turn the fortunes of Denmark and the political system upside down.
For centuries, the Danish nobility had enjoyed huge power and influence. They even chose who could be king. But in 1658, during a disastrous war with Sweden, key members of the nobility and their armies were wiped out, providing an opportunity for ordinary soldiers like Judi's 7 times great-grandfather, Steen Andersen Bille, to rise through the ranks. A year later, after the Danes repelled a Swedish attack in 1659, the Danish king, Frederick III, seized the chance to end his dependence on the nobility once and for all. And Steen Andersen Bille was at the heart of this power grab.
The king staged a revolution, and a key moment in this process is the 13th of October 1660, where the king decides to close the city gates so that all the nobility can't leave the city. They are to stay there and take the right decision to transfer power to the king. And the man who goes to the gates and gives the order is Steen Andersen Bille. He's also the man who tells them they are now effectively prisoners.
On his own?
Not on his own. He was an instrument.
Yes.
These assembled nobility lost all courage and morale, and in 3 days they succumbed to the king's demand, and Denmark became an absolute monarchy. In one clean stroke, all political power of the nobility and everybody else is abolished, and the king decides everything. You can say for Steen Andersen Bille, this was an opportunity. He sided with the king and played the king's game. So he ended up on the winning side of history.
Quite lucky.
Yes, because of his descent. He was this bastard son of a Danish nobleman, half a member of the nobility. So
perhaps the right person to do that, then.
Yes.
To find out if her 7 times great-grandfather, Steen Andersen Bille, benefited from his loyal service to the king, Judi's come to the Danish National Archives and is meeting Adam Jon Kronig.
So welcome to the National Archives.
Thank you.
And
goodness me.
We have something for you to see here.
How on earth did you get the ones at the top?
I'll show you.
Please do.
But are you afraid of heights?
No.
Okay, that's good.
It's like Back to the Future.
It is.
And it's back to the past.
Back to the past?
Yes.
Oh my God.
To help her understand the Danish records, Judi's meeting with archivist Ronnie Andersen.
What is this?
So if we open up, we see here the seal of the king. And here we have the document itself. This is from 1679. And this is the ennoblement of your 7th great-grandfather, Steen Andersen Bille, for his services to the king. He's a colonel and vice commander of Copenhagen.
Well, that's an extraordinary piece of information.
It is.
That I didn't expect at all. I don't expect he did.
No. Well, he was, as you know, an illegitimate son.
Yes.
There is this division between the old nobility, who loses all their privileges and rights in 1660, and then the new nobility that supports the king and has to be loyal to the king to be given privileges and power. And here we have Steen Andersen Bille achieving this by becoming a nobleman. And he was granted the arms of his father, of the Bille family.
Right. So he was granted those again, as it were.
Yes.
Having been denied his father's coat of arms at birth, Judy's 7 times great-grandfather, Steen Andersen Bille, was allowed to use his family crest for the first time at the age of 55.
Absolutely wonderful.
Yes.
I'm so pleased for him.
Yes, he managed to succeed in life.
And worked quite hard.
Worked quite hard for it, yes. And of course he was a loyal soldier to the king.
Yes, yes.
I've got something very interesting to show you. This is a deed from 1699, the year after Steen Andersen Bille died. And here his wife leaves an estate to the daughter, Anna Katrina, and Richard Bolton, her husband. So this is Dick Bolton.
Dick? So she was all right in the end?
Yes.
Well, Dick Bolton, my 6th great-grandfather, came to Copenhagen with somebody called Molesworth, who wrote a very elaborate letter home saying Dick Bolton was having an association, said, with his mistress, who really had no prospects and no hope of any inheritance. And so he wanted to wash his hands of the whole affair.
Robert Molesworth didn't like Steen Andersen Bille because he represented the new system, new absolute monarchy.
Yes.
And there's only one thing that's worse than no money, that's new money. So he didn't like the new absolute system. And that's perhaps an explanation of why he didn't like Steen Andersen Bille and his daughter, Anna Katrina.
I think he was the most remarkable man, Steen Andersen. After quite a life and quite an adventure, he got back into the nobility. It must have been a glorious thing to happen to him. He worked hard and got some kind of recognition for it. I just will never stop talking about it. Now, I'm a Dane. Heaven. I would like now and then to find out as much as we can about the Bille family. If there is more to find out, let's go and do it.
To see if she can push her Bille family line further back, Judy's meeting Dr. Anders Tofgård at the Royal Library of Copenhagen.
So this genealogical table will reveal something about the next generation of your ancestors. You have learned about a certain Steen Bille
Yes,
and his father,
Anders.
And then if we push one step further back, we come to Steen Bille.
Oh.
Steen was one of the recurrent names in the family.
Yes.
So this Steen, who was your 9 times great-grandfather, his sister was a certain Beate Bille. And she was married to a certain Otto Brahe and had a son whose name was Tycho Brahe. And in English, that would be Tycho Brahe. Does that name...
Say that name again.
Tycho Brahe.
No.
No. And that's perfectly understandable.
Is that shocking? You're going to tell me that's very shocking that I don't know.
Their son, Tycho Brahe, is one of the most famous astronomers in the history of modern science.
Judy's learnt that her 9 times great-grandfather was called Steen Bille, and his sister, Judy's 10 times great-aunt, Beate Bille, had a son called Tycho Brahe, a famous astronomer.
Steen Bille, your 9 times great-grandfather, supported Tycho Brahe and was helping him making experiments and
huge
furthering.
encouragement.
Yes,
sure.
he gave him encouragement and that.
Good.
Yes. So Tycho Brahe was at his uncle's castle. At the castle, he observed the sky and saw a star which he had never noticed before. He wrote his own book on the observations, and this was the major breakthrough of
Do we
Tycho Brahe.
recognise that star now?
Yes.
And do we know what it's called?
It's the reason why it was so visible then was that it was a supernova. So
Yes.
it was a star which became visible before fading away. So he had a year to observe it. And here is an illustration of Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia.
Yes.
And then there's a new star here. It changed the vision of the world and of the stars. So he had to make a new theory. And this is the book which then propelled him to fame.
Tycho's observations were at the forefront of a revolution in scientific thinking about the universe. The stars were no longer seen as fixed heavenly bodies, but part of a moving and changing cosmos.
Now the Danish king gave him an island where he could build his observatory and observe the stars. This is one volume of his manuscript observations of the sky.
Look at the drawings. Are the portraits of him?
Yes, and I would like to show you one contemporary portrait. This is the Danish king Frederick II, portrayed here on a tapestry. And in front of this castle, we see Tycho Brahe standing here in conversation. And Baddiel, the sister of Sten and the mother of Tycho, she was a lady-in-waiting of the queen at the castle. And the castle was built in the Danish town Helsingør. And do you know Helsingør?
Helsingør. Yes, why do I know that?
You might know it better. You might know the English name better, Elsinore.
It's Elsinore.
Yeah, that's. And this is the castle where Baddiel spent many years of her life as a lady-in-waiting.
In that castle?
In that castle.
Judi has discovered that her 10 times great-aunt Baddiel was a lady-in-waiting at Kronborg Castle in Helsingør, which Shakespeare named Elsinore, the setting for his play, Hamlet.
This link, you know, the very first part I played, the old Vic, was Ophelia in Hamlet, and suddenly to be told that an ancestor of mine was actually in Elsinore. And that's very, very, very difficult to take in with everything else. I'm going to bore the pants off people. Oh.
To find out more about her connection to Elsinore and her 10 times great-aunt's role as lady-in-waiting to the Queen, Judi is travelling to Kronborg Castle.
I have had a genuine passion for Shakespeare all my life. I can't believe we're going to actually go to Elsinore. Did Shakespeare ever actually come here to Denmark? Did he ever actually come to Elsinore? Maybe I'll find out.
Judi is meeting Dr. Anne Sophie Refsko.
So, welcome to Kronborg Castle. This is one of the most magnificent Renaissance castles of Northern Europe, as you can see.
It's so beautiful.
And I wanted to take you inside to show you where your 10 times great-aunt Baddiel was working. Although, of course, I say working, but it's not quite the correct term, is it? Because she was the Hofmesterinde to the Danish Queen Sophie, and a Hofmesterinde is not a servant. She was, in fact, the Queen's second in command. She was the highest-ranking female courtier at the court. So she was in a very powerful position. The first thing I want to show you is I found a portrait of your 10 times great aunt Beata, whom we've been talking about.
Oh, how lovely. Quite a direct gaze.
Quite a direct gaze, isn't it? Yes.
Can you see a family resemblance? Wait a minute.
So we know that she took up the position of Mistress of the Robes or Chief Lady in Waiting in 1584, and that she was with Queen Sophie for 8 years. So that takes us up to 1592, which is the period when a certain playwright in London is beginning to make his mark on the world, isn't it?
It certainly is. We've always called him the man who pays the rent. Mikey, my husband, and I
love it.
Have always called him that.
Yes.
Simply because, you know, I was at the Vic for years, and he was at Stratford, and then we were both together.
So, you know, of course, that Beda had a very famous son called Tycho, your ancestor.
Tycho Brahe.
Tycho Brahe.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, here is a picture of Tycho, and if you look very closely at the heraldic shields around Tycho, do you read what it says here? Guildenstern. And if we go up a little bit further, 1, 2, 3, to this heraldic shield here, Rosencrantz.
What? So those were part of his family?
Those were part of his family.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Exactly.
Who Shakespeare?
The names of Tycho Brahe's ancestors, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are also the names of devious characters in Shakespeare's Hamlet.
Isn't there a line in Hamlet about, I would trust them as I would adders' tongues? I mean,
exactly.
Hamlet doesn't speak very well.
He doesn't speak, and they don't come to a very good ending.
And they don't come to a good ending.
No.
What then is the connection then? Did Shakespeare just read about them and think they were fascinating names, or?
And this is an image from one of his books that he published.
Yes.
So, because these scientific discoveries became so famous, it's quite possible that his books and his writings would have found their ways to people in London who might have known Shakespeare. The other thing that I wanted to show you, do you see how Tycho has inserted his own motto here on this side and on this side? And his motto reads, non habere sed esse in Latin, which translates to something like, not what seems, but what
is, but what
but what is. Does that remind you of anything?
Yes, seems, madam, nay, it is. It's practically a line from Hamlet.
So it is. This is a very precious document. Because King Frederick and Queen Sophie were such lovers of the arts, and because they held these lavish parties and banquets, they had entertainers here. And the entertainers came from all over Europe. So we have...
You're not telling me there was a tour, an English tour of...
There was, in fact, an English tour. In fact, there were several. This lists salaries that were paid to some English players who came here in 1586 to perform for the king. And the name that we can read here, if we look very closely, says Wilhelm Kemp. Does that name...
Will Kemp? Is that Will Kemp?
It's Will Kemp.
Will Kemp was a famous actor who worked with Shakespeare at the Globe Theatre in London. Shakespeare even wrote roles specifically for Kemp to show off the actor's comic talents.
This document tells us that Will Kemp was here in the summer months of 1586. And what's more, Beate Biele would have seen him, wouldn't she?
She would have, yes, she would have seen it.
So Will Kemp, who then went back to London and worked with William Shakespeare, was here.
Well, maybe the stories that Will Kemp brought back could have been some kind of inspiration to Shakespeare to write about Elsinore and write the story of Hamlet.
I think it
could have been. How was it? He said to him when he got back. How was it?
How was it? Cold.
Very, very cold. Terribly proud of the connection. Wonderful. Well, I started this journey off not knowing anything about my mother's side of the family. It's just been an extraordinary adventure. It's like starting a play and not knowing your part in it. And suddenly you find at the end, you've fetched up in Elsinore. And so, you know, I feel as if there's a hand reaching across a lot of ages to maybe touch William Shakespeare. Who knows? I'm now coming back to London with very, very long legs and very, very long blonde hair, and I'm Danish from top to toe. But that is not to negate that I have a great deal of Irish in me as well. Can't just... But I'm claiming a lot of the Danish.